What is your name, job title, and how many years have you been with the city of Lake Forest?
My name's Matt Wert. My job title is Maintenance Man 2, and I've been with the city of Lake Forest for 30 years and about 5 months.
What job titles have you had over the years? And just give a brief description of the responsibilities and duties of those job titles.
Job titles, okay. Currently and in the past, I have run the athletics field crews, which is soccer, baseball, lacrosse, rugby, polo, putting fields down, prepping diamonds, getting the games ready. I have also been the city locksmith for a few years back in my earlier days. So I was the only locksmith in the city, and whatever they needed, if I had to pick a lock or install locks, key locks, make masters, whatever I had to do on that. I have run landscape crews. That has been 3 or 4 people, and we go around and we take care of parks and some city buildings, sites. For about 6 years of my career, I worked in forestry. So I didn't do any real tree climbing or anything. That was more being a bottom guy. The cleanup and some pruning and things like that. Let's see what else. There's actually a lot of different job titles that I've done. In the wintertime, we prune, even in parks. We plow snow. We take care of the parking lots and the streets. We take care of the train platforms, some sidewalks in town around the buildings and such. Maintain equipment, wash trucks. I mean,
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a long list.
What did you do before starting here, and how did you get full-time at the city of Lake Forest?
I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I was a small weapons repairman when I was in there. I got lucky on how I got this job. My dad knew somebody that worked over here, pretty high up, and he said, "You need to go over to Lake Forest and put in an application and see if you can get an interview." Well, I got an interview, and a couple weeks later, they called me up saying that I got the job. Now, this is 1989. Jobs were a lot easier to get back then. The competition wasn't as hard. And in some ways, with the city of Lake Forest, it definitely helps if you know someone.
In your current job title, what are some components you enjoy and also dislike?
I enjoy working outdoors. I enjoy working with a lot of the people that I work with. There's been a lot of turnover on people in 30 years, so I've gotten to know a lot of different personalities. The work is not that bad. I like doing the work. And once again, working outside, it's one of the big bonuses, except for in the winter.
And what is some things you dislike?
Oh, loaded question. Lake Forest has its own politics, its own logic. Those sometimes are hard to wrap your head around. A lot of overtime, a lot of working on weekends, a lot of working on holidays. If you're a family man, that can be a little rough. Those are about the basic ones.
Okay, what character and personality traits are needed to be successful in this field?
Knowledge, common sense, patience, tact, which I had to learn a lot of different ways. Uh, let's see. Learning how to read people and how to deal with certain personalities, that definitely helps.
Are there any experiences, education, or other trainings that you would think would be successful in this field?
Yes. Horticultural degrees, management degrees, not necessarily business management, but how to manage people. Even to a point, psychology classes would help. Education-wise, okay, you should probably get a CDL, driver's license, so you can drive the bigger stuff. Pretty much required here anyway. Pesticide licensing, we have to go about every 2 years and get certified in that. I've had classes in turf, week-long classes where you're getting so detailed you're actually putting grass under a microscope to identify it. Just education in general, anything that relates to anything that you're doing. Landscape classes, anything like that.
What are some of the biggest changes you have seen in the field?
From a city standpoint, people, a lot of turnover on bosses and full-time guys and seasonals. One of the biggest changes that I think I've seen for positive is equipment. Equipment has really come a long way in the last 30 years on making our job a lot easier. Those are two good ones.
Okay. This is the last question. What advice could you give somebody looking to break into this field or get a position like you?
I'll go back to some earlier things that I said. Education. Educate yourself as much as possible on everything that you may be dealing with in this job. Patience. You definitely have to learn patience with a lot of areas in this, with people and circumstances and schedules, things like that. You have to be flexible. Kind of goes with the patience part. Tact. Picking your battles. Had to learn that a few times. Let's see, what else would there be? I think really in a lot of ways I covered a lot of that stuff earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matt.
You're welcome.